Yeah. Yeah, already on number 16. So it seems to be working though. So yeah, well, it's good. We're in a good rhythm. That's for sure. Yes, a bit of Disneyland thrown in with your tech. So I've got two products here. This is personal news. We'll just jump straight into personal news. I got sent Yeah, I got sent a smartphone to review from a website, so yeah, I'll be reviewing that. Yeah,
Even
already on
though I
number
need to spend some
16.
more
So
time on the review,
it
because
seems to be.
yesterday I was using it and I was like, this is pretty bad. So I'm gonna have to find out some of the reasons why this smartphone isn't. I don't know. It's just not working anywhere at the moment. It's not working anywhere near as good as my Huawei. But we've got a we've got a Z170A gaming motherboard, so that's coming in. That's going to get a review, and I am going to be doing a Skylake build. With that being said, so I can't wait to do that. Unfortunately, the X5650 is going to go. So yeah, that's the one upstairs in my editing ring. So that's going to go, and we're going to say hello to Skylake. So 6600. I ain't going 6700, man. Do you know that it's a rip off? Well, it's gonna be like this is my everything rig at the moment. That's just like my secondary rig. It'll be for like I don't know, whatever. Yeah, that's what I mean. That's what I'm doing. Yeah, so I edit everything down here. It's just that it's yeah. I don't know. Joker, no audio. Oh, you got no audio, dude.
All right, I fixed it now. I'm back now. At least I wasn't talking this entire time. At least it was all you talking up until now, pretty much.
Well, that's good. Yes.
All they missed was me grunting and asking you which CPU you were getting.
Yeah, that's okay. Yeah, it's you know, well, it was all me just at the start of the show. So that's about me. I got two things coming with the Skylake build, and yeah. What about you?
Is that it? What's the thing in the blue box? What is that? That behind you? What's that thing in the blue box?
Oh, it's a smartphone.
Oh, okay. That's the new smartphone you got. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
For tech stuff, well, I got the 40-inch monitor finally that I was talking about. I've been talking about for ages, which has been amazing. I got that thing overclocked to 72 hertz, which is really nice. Which is
Yep.
being pretty smooth on games. I've been playing like some Rocket League on it, some Batman Arkham Knight, and I'm going to be reviewing it this week. I haven't uploaded a single. I usually like upload like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. I try to upload like Monday through Friday, but I didn't upload Monday or Tuesday. But I'm like the end of the week is going to be so crammed, packed with dense, good content that it's just like okay, you're gonna forgive the fact that I missed the first 2 days this week, and we had the giveaway going on. So the double giveaway, if you see it on the screen now, the mouse and the E5 DAC. So I already messaged the winners. Now the first person I drew, his name was Lars. So I sent him an email because remember I said on there on the drawing I was the first person that I drew was going to get to pick what they wanted, and he actually chose the mouse. He chose.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he chose the Gamdius mouse, which is like it's like a $60-$70 mouse. So I emailed.
Oh, man.
So you know he and it's a good mouse. It's it's a solid mouse. It just wasn't fit for my hand really, and plus.
I mean, I would have just picked the E5 and sold it. And
I mean, yeah,
bought the mouse.
he could have sold the E5 and bought 3 of these mice.
Yeah. So I'm just surprised. That's all.
Well, hey, I wasn't going to argue with Lars, and Lars said he wants the
Yeah.
mouse, so I told him, all right, I'll send out the mouse. I got it right here, Lars. I wanted to keep it for the show, but it's going in the post tomorrow morning, I promise. And then the other person was Jeffrey. Jeffrey won, and I told him, I was like, hey, man, yeah, you were actually the second drawing, but the other guy wanted the mouse, so you got the DAC. And I told him, I was like, I think you won out on this one, man. So he's getting...
Yeah, even though you came second, you came in best here, brother.
Yeah, so I don't know if Lars or Jeffrey are here in chat, but if you are, say what's up in the chat, because, yeah, you guys won, so that's basically that.
That's what's happening there. So...
And I did
Yeah.
have, let's see, any more tech pickups. Not really. Well, I did get this in the post today. I got the Creative Sound Blaster Roar 2 It's the new one. It's like did you get the Roar yet?
The what's this?
The Roar from Creative.
No.
It's a really sweet Bluetooth speaker. My dad actually uses it at work because that thing is like seriously like heavy duty. So now I got the Roar 2, which is a white one. I think it looks sweet. This I'm just gonna like even if I don't use this, I'm putting this on my desk just because it's white and black and it's gonna match everything.
Yeah, sweet. Yeah.
But I don't know. I'm looking forward to trying it out. It came with a carrying bag and stuff like that. But I didn't buy anything else new. Really, nothing really else new that I bought at all. That's really what's been going on with me. Saw Black Mass in the cinema. That was a good movie.
Yeah.
And I'm planning on seeing Everest this weekend. So yeah, that's pretty much it for me.
Well, let's get on with some tech news then, because we got a show and then we've got a special guest later.
We're
the show.
Yeah, should we tell them now what we're going to be doing with that?
Yeah, we'll tell the viewers now. So, do you want to shoot?
All right. Well, basically, we have a friend Marcus, Totally Silenced, who runs a channel, and he's going to be our first guest later today. But what we're going to be doing is we're going to basically be doing a YouTuber spotlight every month. We're going to do it one episode a month, so it's going to be probably the last episode of the month or the second to last episode. I think we have one more episode this month, so basically our next one will be at the end of October, where we're going to feature a up and coming tech or gaming channel. We have quite a few tech channels in our community that we see in the comments all the time, like Kyle, Riding Wolf, Brian from Bad Seed Tech, all these people out there that have, good up and coming channels and stuff like that. They're friends of the channel, part of our community. So, if anyone out there wants to be, featured on the YouTube spotlight here on our show and be a guest during like the last 15-20 minutes of our show at the end of the month, then you'll be able to submit an email to that. And I have to still set up the email address, but it will be in the description of this video. After it gets uploaded and archived, I will have the email address in the description, I promise you. I just haven't set it up yet, so I kind of forgot to do that. But we'll have it in the archive, so if you do want to submit to be on the show, I'll have all of the details and everything in the description for that after this gets uploaded.
Yeah. Well, another thing too, and I'm wearing a Joker shirt too.
Oh,
yeah.
Look at that. What's it say? This is what? This is not a joke.
This is not a joke, baby.
That's tight.
This is TechGamingWeeekly, baby.
That's tight. Even though he is kind of dressed like Eddie Munster, but.
Yeah. Well, anyway, we really get on to some tech.
Come on, look at that bow tie. That is an Eddie Munster bow tie, man.
Well, we better get on to tech, otherwise people are just going to rage quit our stream. So, but we'll kick off the first topic. Nvidia GeForce 355.98.
Yep, new
driver has been released, and it's basically got support for Killing Floor 2 and GTX 980s.
Oh,
and
yeah,
also,
the 980s for notebooks.
Issues. Yeah, and also fixing some issues with Battlefront 2 as well.
Yeah, so it's basically a game-ready driver for Killing Floor 2. Recently we had covered, and I talked a little bit about it because I played it. They brought in like a whole bunch of like new Nvidia tech, their Flex tech, which basically made like the blood and gore have like physics to it, or advanced physics. So it looks absolutely gorgeous, but it was a bitch to run. So this driver basically seeks to optimize that a little bit better, maybe make it perform better in SLI. And they've added in support for the 980s for desktops, laptops, which we're going to talk about soon. And the last one was an SLI profile fix for Star Wars Battlefront, because there was an issue with Battlefront. If you tried to force SLI back in the alpha, there was a problem with the textures with flickering. So looks like they've sorted that out. So they're already working on SLI profiles before Battlefront's even out. So that's great to see that they're already addressing that kind of stuff ahead of time.
But one of the most interesting things is that it's got Windows 8.1, 8, 7, and all those issues cramped together. They're fixed issues in those OSs, but then we've got Windows 10 having its own issues. So that's like something that I find really funny, because I thought Windows 10 was a little bit buggy in some cases. So, but yeah, it's just funny how you've got that solid proof there, that they're having problems with Windows 10 and issues on Windows 10 as opposed to 8 and 8.1.
Yep.
So, anyway, let's move on now to the next topic.
Yeah, go straight into this. This is basically the big one right now. And I'm going to be doing. I think I'm going to be doing a dedicated video at some point tomorrow, probably about this. Basically, they're bringing desktop 980s to laptops, which is I mean, a lot of people seem to be excited about it. I mean, all the big tech channels were covering because, like, I mean, like Tech Syndicate, you know, all those guys, they were like Paul's Hardware. They were all invited out to an event in LA to cover this for Nvidia. And they showed off the desktop 980s and all these laptops. Did you see that water-cooled Asus one?
No, I didn't actually.
No, if you scroll down on the link, there's a liquid-cooled Asus one, man. It's crazy looking. It's the third laptop down when you get towards the bottom.
Ah, yeah.
That massive thing on the back.
What is it?
It's a liquid. It's a liquid-cooled laptop.
It kind of looks like something Dell would do, though. To be honest.
On an Alienware.
Alienware thing. Yeah. You know, it looks cool, but you got to pay like, you know, exorbitant amount of money for it. So.
I like the brushed aluminum on the top of the laptop, though. The rest of it, though, they can keep because I mean, if I saw someone with that in public, I would laugh at them and then kick them off of whatever chair they were sitting on.
You made some good money this month, brother, and we're gonna take it.
So. That's insane! Just putting a liquid cooler on there.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, though, I'm making a separate video on it. I don't know, like. It's a GTX 980. Like, I kind of want to see a 980 Ti or something. That would be pretty freaking awesome if a 980 Ti could fit in a laptop.
Well, they cut down the thermal output a little bit on this. They brought it down to I think 145 watts. I think it was, if I'm not mistaken.
From 165. Yeah. So that's the TDP figures. Yeah. I mean, that's good. I mean, they're going to have to, right? And putting anything in a laptop, you're going to have heating issues, and you'll notice that pretty much all the laptops there. They've got thick bums.
Like, that's what
they're just
got back.
Yeah, that's it. So like, you know, if you like big butts and you can't lie, then you're gonna like these new laptops. You know, so I mean, it's cool. It is really cool how we're starting to see like, you know, desktop CPUs and now desktop GPUs going into laptops because people love that raw power. And then if they can get the cooling right, there's going to be no reason to have well, except the monitor size. Yeah, that kind of sucks.
Yeah.
But there is going to be a reason not to still get it. But I mean, there's going to be less reasons to want to, you know, not get a laptop.
I like the Clevo laptops they have on here because I've seen these before, and the Clevo laptops, I think they're from the same people that make the Sager laptops, and they're really impressive because they have like desktop 4770Ks, and some of them, and these new ones have desktop 700Ks. And yeah. I would love to have one of these like Clevo laptops, like for a mobile workstation, not for gaming, but as a mobile workstation.
See, for me too, I'm on the same fence. Like gaming on a laptop, I'm not a big fan of. Like, you know, it's just awkward for me. You got like a keyboard. Like even if I was gaming with a laptop, I'd be plugging it up to a keyboard, plugging it up to a monitor. And then in that case, I might as well have a desktop. So, but like when I was a uni student, man, having a laptop was so handy. Hey, it like saved my life.
Yeah.
I don't know what I would have done without a laptop at university. It was incredible.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I'd be more happy just to have the CPU power at your disposal on the go. That's more important to me than having GPU power. I mean, they could leave that. I mean, they could just put like a cheapo GPU in there, and I'd be happy enough just if I could just log on if I was on vacation and play like some Black Mesa for an hour. That'd be more than enough. That'd be more than enough That'd be more than enough to suffice for me on something like Black Mesa or Half-Life 2. Hop on something like that, which like pretty much anything can run.
Yeah, I mean, I just think like there's way too much hype surrounding a GTX 980 going into a laptop. That's all.
Well, yeah, basically Nvidia. Well, they brought all these people out there to go talk about it. So that's why there's so much coverage about it. Is Nvidia has basically said, "Hey, come here, cover it." Boom.
Yeah, that's true.
That's basically what it is.
Free flights, free party. Yeah, parties on Nvidia.
And I'm going to be doing a dedicated video on this because I had some concerns about it, especially in terms of thermal throttling. Because it's a desktop GPU, you're putting it inside a laptop. You know, if you bring up before you say something, if you bring up the next link that we have on here, down towards the bottom of it, they have some benchmarks on here, where they were basically showing like what it was getting. Like it's saying like Witcher 3, 61 FPS, GTA 5, 89 FPS, MGS 5, 84 FPS. Now, the thing is, like, sure, it's getting good average scores in these benchmarks, but that's
Yeah.
also on burst runs. How is this desktop 980 and a laptop going to handle it
that's-
after 3 hours of running inside
yeah.
there with a desktop CPU? Because they're putting desktop CPUs in there as well, so that's double the heat output. It's no wonder why Asus is strapping a liquid cooler to the back of this thing.
Yeah, that's true. Very, very valid point.
And no one's covered this. I saw like 8 videos from different tech channels talking about this yesterday that were all invited out to the NVIDIA event. Not a single person mentioned thermal throttling as a potential issue. The only person that even touched on it a little bit was Tech Syndicate. They kind of talked about temperatures and stuff like that, and I felt like they maybe wanted to go into it a little bit more, but I don't know, maybe like they were being held back or something, or they couldn't because of the event.
Yeah, it might be on NDAs. Yeah.
But yeah, it's at this time that's my major concern, and that's what I want to that's what I'm planning to do a video about tomorrow.
Yeah, after you put it that way, it's kind of, for me, it would be a concern, right? Yeah, exactly right. Okay, you can run some benchmarks for 10 minutes, but we all know that when you're a gamer, and especially if you're going to be dropping this amount of money on a laptop, you're going to be playing, I would imagine you're going to be playing it for at least a couple of hours at a time.
Absolutely.
So that's a big concern, right? I mean, yeah, it's crammed into a laptop. I mean, you're going to have some kind of like pretty much all open laptop case where it's just breathing and you're getting airflow in there. And I'd probably even recommend having it sit on those fan pads that cool underneath the laptop.
Oh man, I don't think those things do anything.
Oh no, they do. I've had I think it was a Cooler Master one on my brother's laptop. Like, it actually helps.
I used to have one too because I had an Asus gaming laptop. I remember thinking when I had it that it felt like a gimmick. I don't know. Maybe.
No, really?
I'd like to see some real world testing. I think someone did do some real world testing on it at some point, and I don't think it made that much of a difference.
I mean, you probably got a crap one, but I got one from a decent one.
No, I had a good
brother.
one. I had a thermal take one.
Well, they copied someone else, so
Probably being thermal take, they probably did.
So that doesn't count. I don't know.
But before we move on from this, the last thing I was going to mention is with the thermal throttling is I had that old Asus laptop. I had a G74SX. It had a 560M in it. The thing was clocked at, I think it was like 750 or 850 hertz on the core, which was absolute crap. But when the temperature started to kick in, like if I played Battlefield 3 back on that thing, my CPU and my GPU would get up over 90 degrees, and that thing would downclock to like 500 megahertz.
Yeah, well,
that's like half just because you've been gaming for a little while, and boom, then your performance is getting chopped off by about 40%. So even though these 980s are getting these good bench runs, in a controlled environment, in speed runs, just quick, let's run a benchmark for 30 seconds. Oh, look, it got a good FPS. Well, let Heaven run for 3 hours and let's see what it gets.
Yeah, I agree with some of those, full on power testing, like not speed runs. I want like power user tests done. So that's like, lately I've been doing that with all the graphics cards I get in. I will play games on them for a solid few days before I do any reviews, and I'll actually run the benchmarks after a heavy gaming session, because I think that's the way to approach benchmarks nowadays, rather than just putting it in there and going, yep, we can get look at this amazing yang bang score. But when someone starts having throttling problems, what's going to happen then? Yeah, that's very valid argument. So
yeah, that's almost what I always do now. Like when I'm testing, like if I'm going to test a GPU, like I usually put it on Heaven or Valley, and I just let it sit there and run. I'll just let it sit there and run for an hour and let it get under load, and then I'll jump into some other benchmarks, because just want to get it into a real world test environment the way it's actually going to be used.
Well, then there's the other concern too. I mean, all the other components in the actual laptops. I mean, you got to realize this is a Gen 1 thing, right? What happens to your hard drive in a year and a half's time? Maybe, what if you're putting a hard drive in there? What happens to some of those components that are near the graphics card too, and they're copping a beating from all that heat?
Oh, yeah.
So, I think Asus actually are on the right track with just shove a water cooler in it. So
honestly, though, like at that point, though, it's like, why aren't you just buying a desktop? Because there's no like if that thing with the water cooler on it, while it may technically make a laptop with this 980 work without thermal throttling it too much, how practical is that? Like this is meant to be a mobile gaming solution. This is not a mobile gaming solution. What's the point? Like,
Yeah.
like what are you gonna do? Travel with like a Samsonite briefcase with your laptop in there in the cooler? Then you get to the hotel, you take it out and fucking assemble it. You know,
Yeah,
like
just carry it on your shoulder like a
how
like a carton of
practical is
beer.
that?
Guys, I got my gaming laptop here.
I've seen more practical desktop solutions with handles for LAN events. It's no.
I
Just
mean,
no.
we're already
No.
yeah. I don't know. Yeah. We're starting to turn too pessimistic about the desktop things going in laptops. Anyway, I think we get on to the next topic. So, Samsung announces their new 950 Pro SSDs. I mean, look, I tried the Evos recently. I tried an Evo and it was impressive. So, Samsung know what they're doing with SSDs. This thing is reported to have up to 2 gigabytes per second. Not gigabits, baby. We're talking gigabytes. So,
Yeah.
that's, the speeds that they're boasting are pretty damn huge for an M.2. I mean, this is going to be really good because just a lot of motherboards coming out, like the motherboard I got here.
And let me just
B70.
and let me just say, like, I mean, I've seen quite a few M.2 drives, and they're always the same green PCB. This is the first M.2 drive that does sexy.
Yeah,
I want that in a system just because it looks nice.
Yeah,
Like,
see, I've
that looks
criticized,
nice.
like I criticized Crucial before. Like I was like, guys, you got to get rid of the green PCB. You know, it's black's just a safe bet. It's it goes with anything. Just go with black. White's obviously way too hard to implement on everything. Black's kind of like the new green, so take advantage of it. You got like a black motherboard, and then all of a sudden you whack this green sack of shit on there. I mean, it's just gonna look bad, right? So, I mean, I agree with, I like the look of it. So this thing will be a hit. I mean, so we've got 512 gigabytes for $237. That isn't bad at all, especially, I mean, sorry, they're talking about the 850 Pro, but these are going to be a little bit more expensive, sorry, $350, but if the performance is as it says, this thing is going to be a beast. You'll put it in and your computer will just boot up. Like, that's what will happen.
Yeah, it seems like it's about roughly maybe $100 more, compared to its regular SSD counterpart, I think.
Yeah. Well, I mean, obviously, like, actually, it's a pretty fair price considering the speeds that they're boasting. So I actually want to know the random 4K read and writes. That's something I'm really interested in, and it's something that, something that kind of gets avoided. I want to know if these random 4K read and writes are going to be in the same proportion of performance increase as
this is one of those things I'd want to test. Like, see, I would be more excited to get something like this and try it out than the new Intel 750 NVMe's. Like I know those are faster, but I would like to test one of these. I think that would be awesome to try one of these out.
Yeah, especially since it's so slim, you don't have to do any.
You don't have to worry about a PCI slot or anything like that.
Yeah, put the little bad boy in and then screw it down. You're good to go.
Absolutely.
All right, so that's the Samsung VNAND SSD. Nothing but good to say about that.
Yeah, it just looks fucking sweet. Did they have an actual release date on this yet, or is it just talking about it? Ridiculous.
No, it will debut end of October.
68 cents per gigabyte. End of October, it says.
Yeah, end of October.
Oh, nice! So, just in time
for
the holidays.
Pretty soon too. I like it. I like it when you've got announcements in there soon too. Like I'm a little bit like, I hate hearing announcements like in 6 months.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, I'll forget about it the meanwhile.
The only thing that concerns me here is I don't see a 1 terabyte one being listed, and that's what I'd want. I want a 1 terabyte.
Yeah, me too. Actually, going from, like, I just run out of hard drive space so quick nowadays. Like, where does all my hard drive space go? But I mean, the problem is that games are just getting way too big as well.
Oh, yeah, they're because they're on Blu-rays now for the consoles. So you're looking at 35, 50 gigs a piece.
Yeah, it's just like freaking hell. Like, and in some ways, some of these games don't even look better than games that are like 4 or 5 gigabytes. So
Red Z38 wanted to know, what does it go into? Well, it's an M.2 drive, so basically your newer motherboards, like you'll see it on X99. I think some Z97 boards will have it, like later ones. The new Z170s will have it. And basically, it's just like it looks like a matchstick almost, and you can see the little It almost looks like an SLI finger on here or something like that that would go into like a PCI slot, but it's just like a little slot right in your motherboard, and then it just goes in straight. It goes in flat, flush to the motherboard, and it just sticks down and in, and it's like right at the end of the PCI lane, so it lays like flat against your board, so it's like takes up no room.
Usually below your CPU, so just above your first PCIe express lane. So
and it just sits right in there flush on the board, so it's not it's just sleek, and they're fast. It's because it's directly on your motherboard, so your CPU is getting faster access to it, so theoretically it's going to be a lot faster than having to go through SATA Express, and you can just go right to that.
I mean, theoretically, real world, I doubt there'd be any difference, but it's just going to save you a SATA cable, SATA power connector, right? It's all just there. Just bang it on, out of sight, out of mind. Like, it's actually, I really do like M2. But also M2's introduced its own compatibility issues as well in the past. So
yeah, you got to be careful with the motherboards and the processors you're getting and stuff.
So you do have to be careful with that. So, but yeah, you want to move on to the next topic? Microsoft disables Safedisc DRM.
Yeah, so Microsoft has this was already something that was happening with Windows 10, but now, it seems like more features from Windows 10 are creeping back into the older versions of Windows. We had the privacy stuff with Windows 10, what made its way into the older versions of Windows, and now this Safedisc DRM is making its way into Windows 7, 8, and 8.1 as well. So basically, it just means that the Safedisc DRM is going to be disabled. And for what that means for you or me is that some potentially older games may not work any longer on your system. There were some people in the chat that were there's a list that you can find. There was like Need for Speed titles, Need for Speed Carbon, a couple other things.
Wouldn't this just be your old games that are on CD? Like, I didn't even have any games that are on CD. Maybe Baldur's Gate 2, Shadows of M. Like, that's probably the only game I actually keep nowadays. So, if that didn't work, I'd be devoed. But you can just download it anyway.
And they do have a workaround listed here. It said Microsoft provided a workaround, so there is a workaround down here. So it's just, I think it was something worth bringing up, because you might be out there on 7 and 8 and running, the new Windows updates, and all of a sudden, hey, this game is no longer working. Why is it not working? Well, this is probably why. And there's a fix available, at least, And
see, someone's probably identified a pretty big security vulnerability there, and they're like, okay, we're just going to get on this and just disable the whole thing, because it's just pretty funny how they're just disabling it completely. So it must be a potential vulnerability that they're just patching up. So it's a good thing. I just think it's a good thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Not too much. It's not too much else to say there.
Yeah, it's good that at least there's a fix, there's a workaround for it. So I just wanted to raise some awareness about it. Really, not the most thrilling of topics, to be honest. So maybe we should just fire into the next thing.
But the next one is actually cool. Pretty thrilling. This is pretty cool. So, not cool. Yeah, I'm just gonna say
it's a bit weird.
Cool. It's a bit weird. So, Valve's Dan Ginsberg. So not much reason to ever create a DX12 backend for your game. So basically this press event, in about an hour and 40 in, he's basically stated here, unless you are aggressive enough to be shipping a DX12 game this year, I would argue that there's really not much reason to ever create a DX12 backend for your game. And the reason for that is that Vulcan will cover you on Windows 10 on the same class of hardware, and so much more from all these other platforms and IHVs that we've heard from. Metal is single platform, single vendor, and Vulcan, we are going to have support for not only Windows 10, but Windows 7, Windows 8, and Light. So, basically, I guess he's trying to say that, hey, maybe AMD has better performance on DX12.
Well, just with the lower overhead APIs in general, because of coming from Mantle, they have that track record already. This guy's also working on Vulcan, so he's obviously kind of one side. His opinion is going to be swayed there towards Vulcan.
Well, like I've said before, I just think that DX12 is going to trump Vulcan. That's just my prediction, because it's Microsoft. Yeah, because a lot of that will be on Windows 10.
Basically, at the end of the day, DirectX 12, Vulcan could be better than DirectX 12. but I still think it's highly likely that DirectX 12 will become more of the standard because, like you said, because it's Microsoft. We're already on DX11. It's just gonna get picked up and keep going along because it's Microsoft.
And see, I would argue that there is a big reason. I mean, there's a very big reason because people are getting Windows 10.
Yeah.
And like Microsoft, even though the privacy shit sucks with Windows 10. They're rolling it out for free for Windows 8, Windows 7 users. Hell, you go buy yourself a $10 freaking Windows 7 key upgrade to Windows 10. It's $10 for Windows 10. 10 for 10. No, but
well,
what we got here is that when Microsoft are aggressive in putting everyone on Windows 10, and so with DirectX 12 being on Windows 10, it's going to be pretty much a very popular thing with DX12. And Nvidia, if they are posting lackluster performance on DX12, well, they better hurry up and fix their shit. Otherwise, they're going to be in for a bit of hurt.
Well, I mean, there are definitely pluses. There are definitely a lot of pluses to Vulcan. They have a lot of things going for them, but they are going to have to find the developers. They're going to come forward and say, you know what, we want to work with Vulcan. And if they do, that's going to be really interesting. And it's just going to matter. It's going to depend basically on what developers decide to back at the end of the day and start using. Now, I think Vulcan would be a better bet. I would honestly, if Vulcan's better, I would like to see Vulcan take off and start running because first off, it's available on Windows 10, sure, but it also works on 7, it works on 8, it works on Linux.
8.1,
that's one of the biggest things with Linux. Gamers, there are Linux gamers, but they have such a limited library. I mean, just go on Steam and check the box that says what games are available on Linux, and it's like minuscule compared to what the rest of us get. So if we were to get this new API, which is potentially better than DirectX 12, at least according to this guy who, he's behind Vulcan. So obviously his opinion is a little one-sided. But, if we could see those real-world stats and Vulcan is better, then I'm all for that edging out DirectX 12 if it can become the standard because it's going to work on a wider range of operating systems. I'm pretty happy with Windows 8. I don't want to update to Windows 10, really.
I love 8.1, man. It's good.
Yeah, the only reason I'm going to update is for games that run on DirectX 12. So if I had an option of running those same games on Vulcan using Windows 8, then I would use that guaranteed because I just really don't like Windows 10. I just really don't.
Yeah, it's just funny how SteamOS isn't included there. Just guys, SteamOS is a big thing, but just forget about it, Yeah. No, it's just funny how SteamOS wasn't included there, but Vulcan may support it might support more OSs than DirectX 12 does, but the bottom line is that you've got to get titles. If there's already games that are going to be released on DX12, and we already know about these games. Gears of War is going to be coming out. You've got Ashes of Singularity. There's already games in the work, and they've created so much buzz. And with that buzz, they're advertising DX12 for free. Microsoft doesn't have to even do anything.
Yeah.
So I mean, you've got to make titles. We need titles, and we need them to be cutting edge, newest titles available. That's if Vulcan wants to succeed. If just sitting behind a stand and talking on a PowerPoint presentation and saying why Vulcan is the future, it's not going to do anything if you don't have the games. You need the games and you need them now. You need them now.
Yeah, they need.
There's no point.
The developers have to get the developers have to get behind it. And another thing is can Vulcan fall into the same issues that Mantle had, where it was like always in beta basically because it wasn't a Windows thing?
I mean, it depends. Like if they get a lot of money behind it, you got to understand there's huge money in these things, and so if they can get the titles out, just rush titles out in Vulcan, and then they're posting legitimate gains, then they'll have something going for them. But as it stands, DX12 is it's grabbing all the spotlight while Vulcan's just sitting in the rear. Even if it is the better API, it's doesn't matter when everyone's using DX12.
It's gonna be what gets adopted at the end of the day. You go back to you ever seen the movie Tropic Thunder when they're sitting there talking about HD DVDs versus Blu-ray, and Jay Baruchel's character says Blu-ray got adopted not necessarily because it was better, it got adopted because PlayStation 3 and porn was using it, and whatever gamers and porn backed, that's what became the more popular standard, and it's it's going to be the same thing again. You know, whatever gamers decide, or game developers in this case, decide to back, then that's going to be what takes off. You know, and people start using it.
Yeah.
And that's more than likely that's going to be DirectX 12, because on paper it seems like it's more accessible. It's definitely more public and more out there. We see it, you know, everywhere. Everywhere, you can't look anywhere without seeing DirectX 12 nowadays. Whereas Vulcan is kind of just behind the scenes. But I want to see more from it. You know, if Valve's going to build games on that, then fine. I just want more Valve games, to be honest. They could build it on top of a Chevy 402 engine. I don't care what they build it on. I just want
are they
Valve
releasing
games.
Half-Life 3? Like, man, they gotta hurry up and release Half-Life 3.
I just want a Valve game. It could be Half-Life 3. It could be. I don't want Left 4 Dead 3. They can keep that. Portal 3 though, absolutely. Team Fortress 3. Just Valve needs to learn how to count to 3. So
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe that's why they don't. Maybe you know what? Valve.
Two.
We've got Half-Life 3, Left 4 Dead 3, Portal 3, Team Fortress 3. That's 4 threes. 4 times 3 equals 12. That's DirectX 12. Illuminati confirmed.
That's it.
Illuminati
that's
confirmed.
It, man.
Oh my God! It's staring at us right in the face.
DX12 confirmed, not Vulcan.
Oh my
GG.
God!
Vulcan not confirmed.
Illuminati is confirmed right now. Oh my God!
Do you want to move on to Konami and dishonesty?
Fuck Konami. Yeah, we need to move on to fuck Konami. So, oh man, this one it's almost impossible to believe that this is actually a thing. Are you familiar with what happened here?
We're giving you guys a bundle.
It's a bundle, guys. It's a really amazing bundle. So
we're giving you an exclusive bundle, and when you there's one game.
So in Konami's infinite wisdom, once again, instead of focusing on the game, because if you remember Metal Gear Solid 5, when it came out, the game was great. It got all these good reviews, but one of the big overshadowing stories was the fucking shitty things that Konami was doing. And now here we have a PES coming out, and it's being overshadowed by the shitty things that Konami is doing. Because on the consoles, people are actually saying this is one of the better soccer games in years, one of the better PESs, better than FIFA this year, and it looks amazing on the PS4. They've upgraded the graphics and all that. On Steam,
€50. You better hope they've upgraded the graphics, man.
That's the thing. Well, that's the thing is on the PC they haven't upgraded the graphics. It's still running on the same old engine. It doesn't look as good, but on the trailer on the Steam store, they're showing PS4 gameplay with the better graphics on console.
See, that's wrong. Like there should be, like, isn't that that's false advertising?
Absolutely,
like that,
and it doesn't even end there. It doesn't end there. So if that wasn't enough, they also are listing PES 2016 as a bundle, and now you go look into this bundle, and what's in the bundle? Well, it's just PES 2016. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but a bundle usually involves more than one thing. You'd have to be anything. They could have thrown a skin in there, an extra uniform, and called it a bundle. But no, the bundle is just the one game. So why would they do that? Is it just a mistake? No. What it does is it winds up hiding the user reviews from the front page, because bundles don't have user reviews on them. So if you look at the bundle, there's no user reviews on the right side. But if you go to the actual store page for the individual item, you'll see it says it has mixed reviews. And most recently, when I've checked it, I think that's gone down to mostly negative reviews. And that's in part because of the fact that they are false advertising the game with showing PS4 graphics and having a worse looking version on PC.
Well, this is disgusting is the word you use there. It's wrong, right? Someone knows about it. They're just deliberately doing this crap to take your money. And so, I mean, EA should use this as a great opportunity to be like, hey, we include more than one game in our bundles. EA could use this as an opportunity to restore some, restore some public image back to their company. Because, hey, Konami's the new EA kind of thing at the moment. So, I mean, EA could do themselves some good, like Battlefront, blah, blah, blah. They're releasing some cool games. I reckon it's time for EA to just start doing some, pinch marketing and saying, hey, we put more than one game in our bundles.
I wouldn't doubt it. Or they with FIFA or whatever, they could say, hey, we're bundling in like all the previous FIFA games and the thing. Because I mean, why not? I mean, once you get the new FIFA, you're not going to play the old FIFAs anyway. They may as well give them away.
To be honest, though, like there's just so many soccer games. I actually think there is more soccer games than any other genre out there. You know, we went to like just my brother hunts for some retro games, and like we went to the store, man, and like you're flicking through half the titles, like soccer this, soccer 2005 Super Edition, soccer, you know, hold grab your nutsack edition, soccer like. It's just like man, countless soccer games. It's like oh.
Well, you know the funny thing is we've got PES or PES 2016, we've got FIFA 2016, all these new soccer games or football games, whatever you want to call it. But honestly, I think I speak for the entire PC master race and gamers everywhere when I say Rocket League is the best soccer game of 2016, best soccer game of the decade. Like who cares? Who cares about PES? Who cares about FIFA? We've got Rocket League, and that's all I need. And I don't think I'll ever need another football or soccer game for as long as I live until Rocket League 2 comes out, because that game is fantastic. And it's affordable. They do maps for free. They don't have any of this microtransaction or bundle crap and all that shit. So fucking just get Rocket League. If you're on the fence about this, just buy Rocket League. Best soccer game ever made.
Yeah, well, that's awesome. Yeah, you don't have any of these, you know, crap marketing tactics going. I mean, this is disgusting, right? Konami, like, get on your game and fix this crap, like.
But hey, Konami, if you want to stop by the chat and drop off some codes for PES 2016, feel free.
Yeah, you know, drop off some free codes, brothers. Stop playing around.
Yeah, drop off some free codes so we could say fuck Konami. So, speaking of fuck Konami, we've got one more Konami news story here. Hopefully, the last fuck Konami news story of 2015. That'd be fucking great, wouldn't it?
Well, that'd be pretty good. Yeah, like not talking about Konami. So.
Yeah. So recently, it was in the news that they were going to stop producing AAA titles, which everyone had predicted. You know, we all were like, oh yeah, they're going to be working on like mobile and pachinko games, slot machines, basically. But now one of their European studios have come forward and said, no, that's not the case. They're still developing Metal Gear Solid and Silent Hill titles, and I could just tell you that it'll be a fucking cold day in hell when I play a Metal Gear Solid game that was not made by Hideo Kojima.
Yeah, that's right.
Not going to happen.
Kojima's not making the series anymore, and it's kind of like, okay, stop beating it. Just put it to rest. Make a new series, you know. It's kind of like, I don't know, in a way it'd be a little bit of an insult to an iconic series that a guy, developed.
I'm fine walking away from it because Metal Gear Solid 4, as fucked up as the ending was, it ended the story of everyone. Like, we know the ending. We don't need it. All these other, like Metal Gear Solid 5 is basically filling in gaps like from earlier on in the lore of the world. So, we really don't need any more Metal Gear Solid games to fill in any story gaps. Although, I don't know, maybe redoing 4 with the story that would actually make sense would be a good idea. Yeah. But that's only the hardcore fans of the series are going to even get that. But, I mean, we know the ending. We don't need any more Metal Gear Solid titles unless they're made by Kojima, which is not going to happen. So I could care less if they make a new MGS game. I won't touch it. Not with the proverbial barge pole. Not going to happen.
I'm interested to see what they do with Castlevania. That's interesting.
Oh, so. Well, for Castlevania, I'll just wait for Bloodstained. Have you seen that?
No.
So Bloodstained is a Kickstarter for a game that's kind of like a spiritual successor to the original Castlevania games, and it looks fantastic. It's kind of like how they're like that Mighty Number 9 game is looking to like reboot Mega Man without calling it Mega Man.
Yeah.
Well, Bloodstained is like a new Castlevania without calling it Castlevania.
Well, that's pretty cool. Yeah. Looking forward to that.
I'm all for those kind of games getting kickstarted. Like, I could see it getting overdone, but I'm all for it because it seems like the real developer, like the original developers and publishers, most of them.
Well, you look at Pillars of Eternity. That worked really well. Like that was crowdfunded. It worked out really well. So I like some things like that. You know?
Like Wasteland 2. Just these. It's like when the fans come forward to make the games come out better because they know what we want more than the original developers or publishers who more often than not have their heads up their asses and don't know what the hell they're doing.
Yeah, I mean, I guess if there's an older generation of people, like it's more like straight to business in ways, but like, you need to be in touch with what a lot of the community wants nowadays. And a lot of the community, like a lot of people in the gaming community, especially the PC gaming community, they want games where you interact with other players. I mean, for me nowadays, single player is kind of getting a bit boring. Like, I used to love single player games when I was a kid, but after playing multiplayer games, for me, multiplayer is just the huge.
I love single player. I mean,
for me, multiplayer is just what sells and what ties me into a game nowadays. If it doesn't have good multiplayer, then of course, if it's single player, it's got to have a really good story, like Wolfenstein.
I think that's I think that's a shame that more and more gamers are thinking that way. Like, if I've seen people that say if a game is coming out and it doesn't have they're like, it doesn't have a multiplayer component, I'm not buying it. I'm just like, well, that's a shame because you're missing out on, great titles otherwise. I'm completely fine with, franchises knowing what they are and what they aren't. Like you saw, like Assassin's Creed tried to bring in multiplayer, didn't work.
Yeah,
no one wants it. If you're going to make a single player game, make a good, strong single player game and focus on that. And then if you want to make a multiplayer game, focus on that and make a good multiplayer game. Make it really, really good.
Yeah, either or.
Yeah. I mean, some franchises can do a good job of balancing it, but more often than not, one of the components just winds up feeling tacked on. And
that's true. Yeah. See, I think Wolfenstein. We'll talk about Wolfenstein soon, but I mean, Wolfenstein. Really, that single player. That was a really enjoyable game. Same with Metro as well. Metro Last Light. I really enjoyed the single players on.
And those are perfect examples where they just focused on making a good single player, a good story, good character development, beautiful visuals, and solid gameplay, and a decent length. Some people might have bought like Metro Last Light when it came out and spent $60 on it and got like a 12 to 15 hour game and be disappointed in that. But for the quality of what you're getting, I am more than happy to pay for that quality over quantity. I'd rather have quality over quantity. I'd rather have a 12-hour quality story than a 50-hour padded out piece of shit like Mad Max that has me running around picking up scraps all day. Give me a solid core game with a good story, and I'll take that. I'll take that. I'll take that immersive story over padded out gameplay and quantity over quality.
I go back on my word a little bit, but I mean, like.
Am I bringing you around? Am I bringing you around?
You are. You've convinced. You convinced me that single player is important, but I mean, still, multiplayer is a huge element in any game nowadays. And so, I think you've got to develop, like you said, you've got to develop the game either just focus on the multiplayer or focus on the single player. I think that's got to be the main. Like, you can't do. I mean, it's hard to do both really well, and. In ways, I mean, the last game that I can think of that just completely nailed it, would have probably been Brood Wars, ages ago. StarCraft Brood Wars.
Call of Duty 4.
True, yeah. So, I mean, like, it's hard to get them both, crisp perfect. So,
yep.
I don't know.
And that's one of the things that annoys me the most is when you do have a franchise that's been putting out good single-player games, and then they go and the publishers say like, oh well, if you're going to make a sequel, then you've got to add on multiplayer, like Dead Space. Like Dead Space 2 had the multiplayer, then Dead Space 3 had the co-op and the microtransactions, and it just got worse and worse. And it was a great franchise otherwise, but then it got ruined by EA and their money basically saying, Visceral, if you want to make this game, you're going to have to do this or you're going to have to do that, and end up ruining it at the end of the day.
All right, so do we want to move on to Hitman, delayed till March 2016?
This got delayed till 2016. Personally, I think this is a very good thing because we got a lot of games. This was meant to come out December 1st. There's a lot of games coming out right around that same day. We've got Just Cause 3 coming out. We've got Rainbow Six Siege got pushed up to December 1st, and this was going to come out as well. And I haven't seen a huge marketing campaign for the new Hitman game, so I think them pushing back to March 2016, whether it's to polish the game or not, I think it's going to sell better for them in March, because otherwise they were going to be bombarded by some massive AAA titles that have some serious hype around them and some serious advertising campaigns around them.
Yeah. Well, I mean, 6 times the size, 6 times larger, baby. So, I mean, I don't know. It looks pretty good. Like, I'd rather a developer take their time and polish the game rather than rush releasing it like some of the Call of Duties and even to some extent Battlefield 4. I mean, I'd rather just games be ready, at least for the majority of users, rather than just releasing a rush title for the sake of making $1.
So I actually like this. I mean, I'm looking forward to this now, like even more so now that they've announced it. It means that they're dedicated to, getting out a better game, which is actually, it sounds good. So,
Yeah.
I mean, there might be some other things. There might be some other reasons hidden behind the scenes there, like we're just working out the best way of, putting in microtransactions. But
Well, maybe they decided, since it is Square Enix, maybe they decided that they loved the tiered pre-ordering system for the new Deus Ex so much that they wanted to implement that into Hitman as well. So maybe. I mean, I already thought that this new Hitman seemed a bit rushed, and I didn't think Hitman Absolution was a great reboot to the franchise. So I'm not putting a whole lot of stock in this game to begin with, but I'll play it when it comes out. I'm still longing for a Hitman game that is as good or better than Blood Money, because that was the best one in my opinion, and I still want that challenge, which wasn't there in Absolution. Tagging all the enemies through walls and all that shit that they have in like stealth games nowadays. That just needs to go. Just bring out a stealth game that's actually a stealth game where you can't see people through walls like you have fucking Superman X-ray vision.
yeah. Well, apparently you do have Superman X-ray vision nowadays. So
I don't know. I don't know. That I want to return to the stealth genre that's actually a stealth game. I mean, even the new MGS had that. Tag enemies, you see them through walls, which was BS, I thought. I can't stand that.
All right, do we want to move on to Wolfenstein? We're going to get some of the topics done, and then we're going to get
move on to Wolfenstein. Yeah.
So, I love it. New Order sequel is already under development. So, and I loved the New Order. Like, I was surprised. It was better than what I expected it to be. It was just like, I really loved what they did with the story. It was like, here's a world that's different to the one that you used to. And it was just fun, man. Like, I really had a good experience on New Order. So New Order 2, and especially with that chick surviving.
Yeah.
Sorry, spoiler alert. The spoiler alert. Especially say she's going to be the main focus, I believe. She'll be the main antagonist, or whatever, the main evil lord.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I've said multiple times on the channel that I loved Wolfenstein: The New Order. It was number 2 on my list last year for Game of the Year. And I think the action in it was just refreshing to kind of just see a return to good corridor FPS shooters without being boring. Like, it's a really difficult balancing act to be able to land a good corridor shooter like that doesn't feel like, a corridor shooter, but it just did everything the right way. It had just enough of the classic elements while doing just enough of the new stuff and having enough for both generations to be happy with it. And it's just a fantastic game. Can't wait for the new one. I even enjoyed the what was the expansion they did for this, the Standal. I can't remember what it's called now. The old blood.
Old blood, yeah. I mean, I did one thing I didn't like was just like when you choose the 2 different storylines, like it doesn't really make a difference. Like, it doesn't make too much of a difference. So.
Well, I think I speak for everyone when I say more Wolfenstein is sehr gut. Ja, Doctor?
Yeah. It is.
Ja, das ist sehr gut to have more Wolfensteiner.
It is very good to have a Wolfenstein.
Oh, whoa. What was that? Was that German troll? That's what that was.
I don't know.
That was German.
I don't even know what that was.
That was almost German troll voice. I don't know.
All right, well.
Hey, Brian, people keep saying on Twitter and stuff like that I pick on you too much. Am I picking on you too much?
No, it's just like I'm half asleep sometimes in the street. Like, it just goes by me. But no, man. I'm used to cropping. I'm used to copping crap, man. My dad, like growing up my whole life, my dad would just lay into me, man. So
it's just
go ahead, shoot. Man.
Some people say like, you're mean. You keep on picking on Brian. I'm like, man, it's just fucking good. It's just good banter, man. It's just a good bit of banter. Just calm down.
I know he loves me at the end of the day. He's a secret admirer. So
who couldn't love a man with walls that red?
That's it. It's lustrous over here, baby.
Yes. So we got 2 more. Yeah. Go on.
Street Fighter 5 official PC requirements. So, I mean, this looks cool. I mean, even though I haven't played Street Fighter 4 because
I'm hoping they fixed it from what I've seen so far.
Yeah, but I mean, we got Ryu, so he's looking like I don't know. He looks scary now on this.
Well, the thing is he has teeth.
Yeah, but he also looks like he's had some eye surgery done, like to make his eyes pop a little bit more.
They've anglicized him a bit more. He's not as Japanese anymore.
Yeah, well, he's kind of he's a bit multicultural nowadays. So
Yeah.
that's a review. He's going to be on the PS4 and the PC. It's funny how they're doing that, eh? Not
Crossplay between PC and PS4.
yeah.
That's good.
Well, that'll be awesome. I mean, I hope the multiplayer. Actually, one thing I am looking forward to with Street Fighter is some good multiplayer, right? I mean, there's not too much to the game except, round one fight kind of crap. So I'd love to just join into a PC lobby and play someone. Like, you know what I mean? Just like really quickly jump in. I'm playing some dude at Street Fighter.
Yeah.
And, that'd be awesome. So I hope they can do the multiplayer element on this, right? That'd be really fun.
Yeah, definitely.
And I hope they have Saget. I hope they have Saget in it.
Yeah. Bob Saget.
Saget's a boss.
Bob Saget would be amazing. I would love to see Bob Saget in there.
Tiger.
Yoga Flame.
Tiger.
I miss. That's not it's Dalsim. Yoga Flame.
Tiger knee.
Yeah.
Well, they got Tiger knee, so
Yeah, you gotta have
Tiger
Tiger-
knee's
well,
boss.
The thing is that concerned me about Metal Gear. I mean, not Metal Gear Solid 5. Street Fighter 5. I saw some gameplay back around E3, and they showed some of it off, and it looked, compared to other Street Fighter games, it was really, really slow. Like Ryu or Ken threw a Hadouken, and the fireball was it took 3 or 4 seconds for it to get across the screen. It was really slow. I couldn't believe how slow it was. It was very uncharacteristic of a Street Fighter 5 game. So that kind of
Well, man, Street Fighter 2 Turbo. Have you played that? That's
of course,
insane.
I fucking grew up on
Yeah.
Street Fighter 2, man. There was a video store near me, man. That's when Street Fighter 2 was a thing on the arcade, man. That was the only place in town that had the arcade cabinet, and everyone was there. Everyone was there with fucking greasy hands from the pizzeria next door, playing with playing on the stick spin, and four people crammed around the machine, just people
Yeah, I
standing
remember
deep
that.
watching.
That's it. I remember they had it when we were kids. They had it at a pizza store. It was like you just went in there, play Street Fighter 2. Yeah, Street Fighter 2 Turbo. It was like Turbo Edition was insane, man. So that was on the SNES, I think it was. Street Fighter 2 Turbo.
It was important.
And it was just like
it was important to get just the right amount of grease on the joystick. That was always
how
important.
how OP was Blanca, man. He was so OP, I reckon. He was just overpowered as hell.
I always used to run with Ken.
Oh yeah, but Blanca, man, he's got this little electric shock thing where
I remember
all
of the bad kids used to use Blanca because he did have some cheap moves. That's what I remember.
Well, yeah,
if you
jump at Blanca, you just straight away do that move, and it's like they die. He's a little bit cheap. He's a bit overpowered. That's all.
Yeah. So real quick though, just to look at these requirements here. So they are saying 64-bit OS, Windows 7 or higher. Minimum is a Core i3.
That's huge for the CPU. I mean, for the recommended, an i5 4690K.
I mean, I think they just put that to put that. I don't think these people actually know what the hell they're talking about with system requirements. Graphics card, recommended as a 960, minimum is a 480. And why isn't AMD on here?
Exactly.
There were some games that I saw this happening where it was an Nvidia optimized GameWorks titles, and I kind of understood, but I've seen a few games now recently where they don't even list the AMD spec for the CPU or the GPU.
Same with
the discussion.
That's what I'm thinking too with the CPU. What's going on there? Smells of a little bit of a payoff. I mean, and also the 6 gigabytes. Just make it a 4 gigabyte DDR3 requirement. I mean, there's so many people out there that are still on 4 gigabytes of DDR3. I mean, as you saw with that Call of Duty requirement, people were still then running it without that amount of memory. They made a way to patch it, and it's it still worked absolutely fine. It's what are you guys doing? You don't want to sell your game? I don't know what it is.
Yep.
Yeah. You know what I mean? You just don't want to sell your video game. Is that all it is?
Yep.
Because that's, but I guess they figured, I guess they're figuring out, if you only got 4 gigabytes of DDR3, then you can't afford our game anyway, son. So chap it up. Chap it up, Sharon.
All right. So, yeah, and then, recommended 960. I guess I'm pretty sure you can run it on less than that. I mean, I've played some recent Street Fighter games, and they're not very taxing to run at all. They're usually capped at 60 FPS. They don't have the most amazing PC ports, but they run well enough. The thing that bothers me is I want to see more fight sticks for PC. I want to see some of those tournament edition fight sticks because that's what I like. I like those things.
Yeah, I like playing Street Fighter, Mortal Kombat with fight sticks, man. There's no better way to play it, really.
Yeah, it takes me right back to like being in that pizzeria as
Oh
a
man,
kid, playing on.
Was it Street Fighter and Marvel vs. Capcom?
Yes.
Man.
Oh yeah, that's what that's it. I haven't picked
So
up.
good.
I didn't pick up Street Fighter 4 or 4 Ultra, and I'm probably not going to pick up 5. But if they came out with a new Marvel vs. Capcom, I would buy that. I would buy that.
Yeah, and an arcade stick with it. Like, yeah, take my money, man. That's it.
Come out with that with a Spider-Man versus Venom edition fight stick.
Yeah,
I'll buy that.
That's it. And put Spidey and Venom in there too. That'd be weird. And
Venom,
Carnage
and
as
Carnage,
well.
yeah.
Please
Throw
put
Carnage
in. Yeah.
Carnage needs his own game and his own movie, man. He needs his own movie franchise.
He does, yeah. Right, anyway, we better get on to the next topic. We're going to have Marcus on too.
We're going to get... And do you have Marcus ready on Skype? Did you add him?
Yeah, I added him, so...
Let's make sure he's ready to go.
He's ready to go. He's ready to go, yeah.
All right, we're going to be firing into him right after this last topic here.
Yep.
So last bit of news we got today is the WRC5 System Requirements World Rally Championship, which is kind of like a sleeper in the racing franchises. But, man, they've consistently have come out with some pretty decent titles. I've been playing the last few WRC games. They're always good. But the thing here that I wanted to mention, it was kind of awkward. Well, first off, at least they've got Nvidia and AMD covered on here, and Intel. So at least they're doing that right. Yeah. But the thing that struck me as odd was on the minimum requirements is a 9800 GTX, and then the recommended is a GTX 780. That's a hell of a gap.
Well, that's obviously the difference between low and high is going to be like...
But I've never seen anything like that.
Two colors on low, and then, on high, you've got your high definition. So, but I mean, that just shows you that it's got a massive variance, and that's a good thing, right? I actually like this.
But I've never seen that broad of a range of GPUs for minimum to recommended. I mean, unless they literally mean like, okay, 780 is what you need to max this game out of 1080p, and a 9800 GTX is what you need to basically to boot into the menu. That's the minimum right there. That's it.
Well, I think there's going to be a massive contrast between low and high. For instance, Battlefield 4, if you looked at high, low versus ultra, there wasn't too much of a difference, right? But I think this is going to be the difference. There's going to be a huge difference between minimum and recommended. I mean, recommended, I'm guessing that's like recommended high spec kind of thing. So, I mean, and it's funny that no Windows 10s there as well. That's pretty cool.
Yeah. No Windows 10 requirement. Windows 7 only. And it doesn't even say 64-bit, so even 32-bit you'll be all right. And 4 gigabytes of RAM, like you were just saying in the last game. So,
well, so that kind of gets it right. I mean, this is it should
run on a wide variety of hardware, basically, is what they're saying. It should run on pretty much everything.
Yeah.
Well, I've always liked the WRC games because they've got solid mechanics for racing games, and they're kind of underrated. Everyone sees like dirt games and Colin McRae, and WRC is legit, man. They've got some good games, and it's real rally. It's like it's not just like, oh, there's like little bits of rally here and there. Like, no, it is a true rally game, and that's what I like
it's
to
good.
See. But they've got
I'm actually looking forward to this. So.
And I'm interested to see how it's going to compete with Dirt Rally because they just came out with that's an early access, and that's meant to have some like the most realistic mechanics ever in a driving game.
Yeah.
So.
No. Anyway, all right. So we're ready to have Marcus on, our special guest for today. This is totally silent. So I'm going to add him to the group call now, and
we're going to fire him into the call.
Yep, and he's going to be good to go. So, and then you guys can ask questions. We are ready to take questions as well.
Yeah, we're ready to do some Q&A. So if you guys have any questions, you'll be able to fire them in the chat a little bit as soon as we get Marcus. After we get Marcus in and talk to him for a bit.
Yeah. Also, as well, we are going to ask him. I'm going to ask him a question of my own. You got some questions for him? Like, do you want to make it one question?
I know we were talking a little bit. We're going to have to get a little bit more prepared for the next time we do this, but I didn't really have. I don't have anything. We can kind of just. We're just going to wing this one. I got maybe like 1 or 2 questions I could fire in there, but.
Yeah.
But well,
okay,
Marcus didn't answer.
Yeah, that's weird. He said he was ready to go, and then. Maybe
I know he's been ready. Been ready to go. He's been counting down the seconds for all week.
Is that because you're on D? Is that because you're on D&D though? You want to turn that off?
D&D. What do you want about?
Yeah, Skype. No. I think he's coming in now. Yeah, here we go.
Hello.
Okay. All right. It failed the first time, but he's here.
All right. Now I'm gonna fix the. I'm gonna fix the video feeds here. right, so we got to go to our YouTuber spotlight here. So we've got.
Okay, no, I haven't done a build in a Fantex case. I got asked that. I would like to try though. I've seen some of the Fantex cases out, and they look really good. Recommend a USB mic. I mean, I don't recommend USB mics that much because I'd rather just you get a separate condenser mic and a separate preamp, and then just plug it into your line in or another device. But like a good cheap one is like the Behringer C1U. I mean, I gave one of my friends that after I reviewed it, and it's a pretty good, just a decent condenser mic. There's also the Blue Yeti that a lot of people rave about. But yeah, let's go on to Marcus. He's our special guest, so we'll answer some more questions later. And he is totally silenced. And do you want to tell us, all the viewers, about what your deal is? What's your gig, man?
Well, firstly, thank you very much for having me on. Yeah, I'm just a PC gaming channel. I've been running for about 6-7 months. Built up about 3,000 subscribers. Really enjoy myself. I kind of deal with any issues anyone has with PC gaming. I sort of tackle any topics people ask me about, any questions, do game reviews, things like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry. Keep on firing away there, Brian, because I'm still setting up your feed as well here because it got a little bit messed up from what I had it planned for.
All right, now, yeah, people are like, okay, I'm going to ask you a question. This is just an interesting question. I'm going to ask everyone who comes on the show, what's the worst tech product you've ever had?
The worst. Oh God, you're going to get me in trouble here now.
It doesn't matter.
Aesthetics and build quality would probably be. Get me in trouble with this. The G502.
Yeah, the Logitech mouse.
Yeah, but performance-wise,
performance-wise,
the best of the best. Don't get me wrong; it's very sort of got two sides to it. That mouse.
See, I love the G302. I got a G302 here, and it is amazing. Like, it is a really good mouse.
Yeah,
I mean, the G3.
Don't get me wrong. Yeah,
the G3. I mean, the old school G3 I had was a really good mouse as well. But
yeah.
But what about performance-wise? What's the worst tech product you've come into? Like, you're just like, this thing is god-awful. I want to throw it in the bin.
Normally, I do a lot of research on the products I buy, but the worst product I've ever bought, or the most sort of one that I was disappointed by, has got to be the PS4. It's got to be the PS4, definitely. Very much. Yeah, because it was just... 4. It was a lot lower than what I expected it to be. I thought it was going to be 60 frames per second,
people were talking
1080p,
about... Well, see, the thing is, with the
it can't even reach 30 FPS, so it's got to be the PS4. Yeah, but aesthetics-wise, it looks beautiful. So there's two different things altogether.
Yeah, well, I'm more interested in the performance, but I mean the PS4. I think you were right. Like, I got a PS4, and it was like the graphics. Everyone's like, "Oh, the graphics are so good, man!" And like, I tried the PS4, and I thought it was a pile of shit. Like, the graphics for what it is, right? For a new school console, a new gen console, the graphics aren't impressive, to be honest. Like, you know, like PC is just miles ahead of PlayStation 4 or Xbox One.
Yeah.
You know, like there's, you know, look at PS3 though, when that came out, it was, I'd say it was arguably still beating PC.
Yes,
look at
definitely.
PS3.
Yes, when the PS3 came out.
Yeah. You look at PS4, man, like, whew, you know, like they're behind with that APU.
Yeah.
And and I was like, before it came out, I had my concerns about putting an APU in a console, and people are, you know, you had, you know, same old brigade. There's just like, I call them the idiot brigade out there.
Oh, hey,
you don't know what you're talking about, Brian. You don't know.
Yeah.
Well, hey, Brian, Brian, it has an APU, but it's got 8 gigabytes of video memory, man.
Oh, it's gonna magically trump, you know, dedicated graphics cards, even from AMD themselves. You know, go figure. So, sorry, Marcus, you go ahead. You're gonna say something, man.
No, I think you pretty much covered it all.
No. No, but like, so we got, you guys want to ask in the chat, you guys want to shoot Marcus some questions, because I'm sure it's all about him.
I see a lot of chat messages about the G502. I am using the G502 right now. I do love the mouse, don't get me wrong. I'm not hating on it. It's a brilliant mouse, but I had a Corsair M65 beforehand, and the build quality of that compared to the G502 is just night and day difference.
The build quality though, like my G302, the build quality it's solid. That's the thing. Like the
Yeah.
aesthetics, I mean, aesthetics is a subjective thing, but the build quality of the G302 is pretty good. Would you say the build quality of the G502 is pretty bad?
Mainly the scroll wheel, which I find is just not to my tastes. It's very rattly. For editing wise, for like scrolling in and out of sort of
Yeah.
in Sony Vegas, I find it very, very difficult to use. I'm not going to talk anymore because there's just too many fans of it. I can't do it.
Yeah, you're gonna have a
I
hard
love it.
time.
I love
man.
it. I love it.
Yeah,
It's
you're
great
gonna
mouse.
have a hard time arguing against Logitech mice.
Yeah,
I'm a big fan of Logitech mice. So
Yeah.
I don't think Logitech's done anything overly bad. I mean, I'd like to see them re-release the G3. Like, I wish they'd hurry up and re-release it. And no, the G100 is not. It needs the freaking buttons on it. Like they missed out on having those two buttons there, and they're so important for having on MOBAs, man. Like those, having those buttons on the MOBAs is so important. So. People want to know your PC specs, so shoot away. Tell people what you're running in that.
I've just rebuilt my PC. I went for the 6700K. I've got HyperX Fury DDR4 RAM. I'm trying to look at it now to remember. I've got H100i cooler, CPU cooler, 980 Ti, MSI Crate motherboards, two SSDs.
Which he actually did a good video on that actually recently. If you guys go look at his channel, he did a really good video on the Skylake and the motherboard overview. That was a good video, Marcus. That was like
thank you.
Because
that means a lot coming from you.
Well, yeah, well, I even told you when I saw it. I had seen some of your videos before that, and you were coming along and whatever, and then I saw that pop up, and that video pop up my subscription feed, and I put it on. I was like, and I had to check the channel. I was like, wait, whoa, this is Marcus, and I was just like, that's like, I was like, man, that's pretty good. Like I know you were doing mostly like images and like panning the images and stuff like that, editing, but I was impressed like with the animations and stuff you were doing, like with the heartbeat on the MSI logo. I wanted to ask you like actually how you did that, because I saw that, I was like, that was pretty cool, because it was like to recap it for the viewers. So there was like basically there was like a song playing, and there was a part that came up to like it sounded like a heartbeat, like dum 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 dum, and he had the MSI logo going in rhythm to it, and I was like, that was pretty damn good. So I was wondering what you did with that.
It's basically like keyframing with Sony Vegas. I presume you could probably do it with After Effects as well. Probably easier. But
people in the comments,
all my videos generally come from the music. So I'll find a track, and then I'll just kind of build on from there. And there was a section in the track, obviously, that had like heartbeat, and then I ended up putting the logo in there. Then I sort of was just zooming in and out of the logo because I could hear the heartbeat, and I just looked at the MSI logo, and it just reminded me of a heart. So I was just there for about 40 minutes trying to time it up, and eventually got the images. So
that's what
timed up.
That's actually that was actually what I thought you did, because I was talking with Charlie, the Irish guy we played with the other night from For the Banter and I. Yeah, we were, because if people don't know this in chat, but like just the other night, like Brian, Marcus, myself, and Charlie, we were all playing Battlefield. We had a good night, and I was actually we were streaming it, but and I was talking to Charlie about that. I showed him your video. I was like, yeah, look, he's doing pretty good. And he was, and I was saying, and he's like, how do you think he did that MSI thing? I was like, oh, he probably keyframed it in Vegas. And he's like, man, there's no way he keyframed that in Vegas. Like, there's no fucking way, man. There's no way he keyframed that in Vegas. So, and you know how Charlie sounds, so that was pretty much spot on. But
that was pretty much spot on, yeah, definitely.
So I'm just happy to feel vindicated there. So if Charlie's watching, suck it, I was right.
Yeah, I was gonna say, with the sub subscriptions, I only ever get like big channel sub videos in my email box. I'm like, I want to see some of the smaller channels that I've subscribed to. It's annoying.
Well, they added it in now. If you go to any channel now, it has like right under their channel name on a video, it has a cogwheel that says the settings for it, and you could set to get emails.
Oh, okay. All right, sweet.
See, that used to be hidden away on the channel page in the banner. There was like a tiny cogwheel, but now it's on every single video.
Okay. So I always wonder, like, I'm only getting video, like Linus Tech Tips has just released this video. I'm like, okay, what about the plethora of other tech channels I've subscribed to? Also, people in this chat want to know, you use Vegas or you Scrubs? You use Vegas, don't you?
Yes, I do. I do. Yeah. Scrubs. Is that what it's called? Scrubs.
Yeah, you Scrubs are using Vegas.
Oh,
Well,
yeah,
as compared to
scrubbing it up.
Adobe, well, I'm still learning Adobe. I've got all the Adobe programs. I'm learning it. I know how to do some stuff in After Effects, and I'm still learning Premiere, but I haven't learned all of my tricks that I do in Vegas yet to move over to Premiere. So
I love
Yeah,
Premiere,
that's
man.
kind of
Like
what
I've
I
gotten
wanna
used
do.
to it. I tried using Vegas. Like I tried the trials. Like I just like 1 hour I rage quit. I was like, I can't get used to this.
See, I had that with After Effects. I was
Yeah.
like, there's no way I'm relearning all this now.
Yeah.
I've only been doing YouTube for about 7 months, and I didn't get Vegas till about the first month after I started because I was just using Windows Movie Maker. Yeah, just started off with that, but I just don't know if I could ever move on to After Effects. Oh,
yeah,
Like
learning.
Premiere.
Oh.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't know.
I think like from what I hear, a lot of people get you can do everything in Vegas, so there's no reason to. Like if you're just making YouTube videos, there's no big reason to change.
Well, I see a lot of where bigger channels they keyframe sort of writing in, and I can see they've done it with After Effects, and it just seems to me that it looks like a much more mature just program in general. So I would like to move on to it.
Yeah,
Like they say, it's easier to use, but it's just.
Yeah,
I wish I'd started with it really.
Yeah,
but,
Adobe's it's hard. Adobe's harder to use, but it really is basically it's the difference of Adobe is basically a professional program, whereas Vegas really isn't. And
Scrubs.
yeah,
Scrubs.
I wouldn't call it Scrubs. You could still do a lot of great stuff in Vegas. I'm still editing all of my videos in Vegas. I've only done two videos in Premiere, so
I'm just taking the piss out
real
of you,
quick
man.
though. Some people in chat were
Fine.
some people in chat were kind of fused. They didn't know who Marcus was. Basically, his channel is called Totally Silenced. If you scroll down in the description, I have a link that goes right to his channel. It's at the end of the topics.
No, I made a typo. Total silence.
Did I type? All right, I'll fix that now. But yeah, if you scroll down, you'll see his channel.
No,
link
I made
there.
a typo.
Oh, you made a typo.
I'm a PC gaming channel, so I just revolve around anything PC gaming. So I'm not a tech channel as such. If it's
That's
PC
right, we
gaming
haven't
tech,
covered.
I'll keep it in. But it's just I just do everything PC gaming. So if you have any ideas for a video, let me know because I'll do it.
Yeah, and see,
Yeah, it's awesome, man. Like I've noticed since you were very small, your channel was really small. It doesn't really matter too much. Like I'm not too even if you put out a tutorial on something not even tech related, I'd still watch it.
Yeah.
You know, like I
thanks.
start getting to know the person. You know, I get along with you, I get along with Joker.
Yeah.
It's really cool. Like I think this is what makes a community grow rather than this guy's only he has to put out this content. No, I don't know even where I'm going.
Yeah,
with
that's kind of why I chose my name. Is probably why a lot of YouTubers choose their own name. So it's like Totally Silenced. So it doesn't sort of hold me down to one particular sort of category as such. Like when I originally started the channel, I was going to do sort of a lot of console exclusives. That's where I got the PS4 and I got a Game Capture HD 60. But unfortunately, no exclusive come out.
What was the reason behind calling it Totally Silence? Like, what's the reason?
Mainly just me games. When I play me games, I'm usually always using a silencer. So
you need to
just went from
get
there.
the silencer from Dota 2. He's a badass in Dota 2, man.
yeah.
He is badass. You need to get him as your big band, in the middle, like totally, and then silence his face, and then silenced. 'Cause he's got a badass voice, man. Like you should go listen to his voiceovers into Silence, like his boss, man. And
I'll rip it out the game.
Yeah, Dota 2, man. Dota 2 silencer.
yeah,
His
and
boss.
Someone was saying that I looked really serious typing. It's because I was updating the description before because I said that if people wanted to get featured on the YouTube channel spotlight, I put the email. So if you refresh in the description right at the top, it says to get featured, it's TechGamingWeeekly with 3 E's at gmail.com. If you want to get featured like Marcus is now, next month for our channel spotlight, you guys can shoot us an email with your channel link and all that stuff. And, maybe
like
get on
guys,
the
shoot
show.
away in the comments. There's not enough questions.
Yeah, and
It's
drop
I'm
some.
waiting for questions.
Yeah, and that's why I was bringing it up. I figured I'd bring it up because people aren't dropping any questions in the comments, whether it's for Marcus or us or whatever.
Well, it's too early in
Yeah.
the morning for me to think. Like your brain hasn't woken up too much yet. I've just been like, okay,
This is the
What
topic.
time is it? 8. What time is it? 8 o'clock? 9 o'clock?
Almost, yeah. Well, it's 10 minutes to 8, and I got to be at work in 10 minutes. So.
Yeah, it's 10
Oh,
minutes.
wow.
10 minutes.
But it's like,
yeah.
but it's literally like 2 minutes down the road. I just jumped
I said
out
it
of my
to you.
house.
I said it to you in the in our stream that we had the other night, Brian. But Brian was my first ever PC gaming tech, whatever you want to call it, video on YouTube I ever watched. And you kind of, I can't remember what the video was. It's something about a graphics card or a monitor or something like that. You know, when you're looking for like making a build in that, and I seen like because you had sort of, what I loved about your videos is you had sort of UK, like, even though you're Australian, you had like UK pounds, American, so it doesn't matter where you were from, you could still work out the prices.
Yeah.
And yeah, so I went from there. But I didn't meet Joker till a lot later
A lot of my
on.
subscribers is just from all over the world, man. Like Australia, you know, I mean, America makes up the majority of my sub base.
Well, yeah.
And then Australia's actually a close second, which is really cool.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, because I'm Aussie, but the UK's third. So like they're the top 3 subscriptions to my channel. So I take care of the top 3. You know, I would do like I know there's people from Europe and stuff, but then it starts to come into the fact of, okay, I've got to waste all this extra time when I don't have that time, you know?
I seen a channel the other day actually that it was a German channel, and he does every upload. He does 2 uploads. So he does it once in German,
Yeah,
and then he does it once in English. That's just like really amazing that it would go to that much effort.
Oh, we got asked about how much do you make off YouTube. You can't actually say, like, you can't say, otherwise you'll get, like, it's against the contract. That you actually do have a contract
You know,
with Google.
it's actually I was in a Facebook group. It was for YouTube gamers or whatever like that, and it's mostly just people spamming their channel. So I wound up leaving the group, but there was actually threads on there where people would post screenshots of their analytics to show how much money they made and how many subs they'd gotten that month. And I was just like, do you realize every single one of you have just violated the terms of your agreement, and you can lose your accounts now? I was like, was it really worth for you to brag that you made 11 cents in the last 18 months? Like,
it's like, I mean, it's not like, you can't say it's not a huge amount of money. Like, I can't live off, no way in the world could I live off my YouTube at the, like, I'd have to be like, as Jay's 2 cents point, you have to be around 200k subs. I think that's when you can really like the actual, I mean, the advertising revenue. I don't make, like, the advertising revenue is probably the main source of income for my channel. You know, but I don't know, like,
it's unless you start, I mean, there are some channels that start selling themselves to sponsors a lot sooner, and you can make a lot of money that way, but we haven't really got, I've really gone that route yet.
streaming, if you had 20k followers for streaming, you could probably live
man,
with that.
yeah, those guys make ridiculous money.
But not like not YouTube subs, so yeah.
You don't need as much money, or sorry, much viewers to make money through streaming, do you? So a lot of people say streaming's like the new thing to go for, but I don't know.
I mean, at the end of the day, it's never about
that
money. Like,
I don't like that aspect of it. Like some of the streamers that are in it like just for the money, like, you know, the girls with the low tops or the,
I was just about this, with the boobs out.
I mean, honestly, YouTube and anything associated with it, it's a big hobby for me. So, like, for me, you know, actually learning and making videos is actually a lot of fun. So that's the reason.
That's exactly the same with me. You know, it was just, I started it because I just love PC gaming. I think most sort of YouTubers start that way. I just started sort of uploading some gameplay, uploaded my setup, and just it wasn't me that started the channel. It was my viewers that started me. They were like, "Oh, I want to see more, and it just kind of went from there. And I'm thoroughly enjoying it now. Yeah, very much so.
We did have a couple questions coming in the chat. Let's
see.
Yeah, Red Z28 wanted to know what 28-inch 1440p G-Sync monitor we would recommend. Well, he said 28. I know there's 27 inches. Well, I think we can all answer. For me personally, if I would wait a little bit, there's basically an updated version of the Acer one that I have that's going to be like 150 hertz, I think, and it's going to have like a nicer bass. That would probably be the one I'd wait for.
Yeah. People want to know about the IRS on Tech Syndicate now. Like, that's actually a big topic. I don't know if I've only got like another couple of minutes, but I will say one thing, man. The tax agents, you cannot dodge taxes in this day and age. Like, dude, the systems that, I mean, I'd imagine the American government's just as advanced as the Australian government.
you cannot dodge taxes, dude. It's like
Well, I
even
wouldn't-
if they've genuinely
well,
made mistakes,
I
or even
wouldn't-
if they've
I wouldn't presume to say that they dodge their taxes. We don't.
no.
We don't
I'm
know
not
that.
presuming that. I'm not presuming that, but you can't miss a beat. Like if you failed to do something, even if it's innocent, like of course Tech Syndicate aren't dodging taxes, but if they've they're a private run company, right? You're gonna probably forget to do things or whatnot, and if you miss a beat, then they come down on you with the freaking hammer, man. And there's nothing you can do. You have to pay your taxes, whatever, even if they demand it, even if it's not just. But this is what I want to say. Even if it's not just and it's not fair, if they serve you with that bill, there's pretty much nothing you can do unless you've got a good lawyer. And good luck.
I mean, my feeling is my feeling on it is my feeling on it is just they haven't really we know.
Yeah, sorry, I apologize for that. I didn't mean to say
no. I was all I was gonna say is that they haven't made all the details of it public yet. So I don't know the full details of it. I've talked to Logan a little bit, but as far as public details about it, it's not really our place to speculate, and I wouldn't want to talk about it unless the full details were out there and we knew the full story and both sides of it. So, I want to say that I want to hope that they're on the right side of it, and I hope that everything works out for them because I think what's happening, with them coming after them is just really shitty. I think it's a shitty situation for them to be in because it could be hard. It can be confusing. Like I know, like right now, in this year, I've started to make a little bit of money doing YouTube, so now I'm kind of I don't know what I have to be doing as far as taxes are concerned. So when it comes tax time, in early 2016, that's something I'm definitely going to have to look into with the tax agent.
But it's an obligation.
Find out what I have to do.
You being a working citizen, like it's your you have to pay your tax.
Yeah,
like,
you have to notify them.
It's not something you can sit back and say,
you're basically self-employed, aren't you?
Yeah, it's something that you can't be reactive on. You have to be proactive with your taxes. That's all.
If anything, I've just taken this as an eye opener to. To pay attention, not to just let it go by. Because, I mean, chances are I could probably, just not file and get away with it for 2, 3, 4, 5 years maybe. But eventually the IRS is going to say, hey, you're earning, X amount of dollars per year off YouTube. You owe us some money.
Especially in the States, man. The States, the IRS is like the most advanced, freaking.
Yeah, and this is just it's made me want to take it. It's made me want to take it seriously. And when I file taxes in 2016, I'm gonna definitely talk to a solicitor about this and make sure all the YouTube stuff is accounted for. But I hope them all. I just hope them all the best with what's going on. Though.
Me too as well. Yeah, I hope them all the best. It's sad to see that. I mean, I hope they get it all sorted out. I hope they're okay. It's tough. Like you can go to jail. Like if you don't pay taxes, even if it's not just, even if it's not fair, if they serve you with that bill and you don't pay it, you're going to jail, pretty much. Yeah. So it's a serious thing, right?
Yeah, as long as if you're making more than 10,000 a year is what it is. If you're making less than 10,000, you don't have to file. But
that's the law. Yeah.
Once you hit 10,000, you have to.
It's just even if it's not fair, even if they are squeezing small businesses and stuff like that, even if they are, that's how when economies do get tough, that's where they go for. They go for the small businesses. They go for the private contractors and all that. They start hammering.
Yeah, very true. That's when they start.
They just start in Australia. They just start auditing, even if you've done all your taxes. Well, let's audit this guy. See if we can get a quick $5,000 out of him. That's how it is.
It is.
That's it. They pull Wesley's. That's it, man. They're pulling Wesley Snipes on people. So
yeah,
that's it.
He was in and out of prison for that for a long time, wasn't he?
Well, that's it. That's what I mean. They're pulling a bunch of Wesleys on everyone. So yeah, I need to go to work right now. I'm actually late. Yeah.
All right. Well,
I'm just gonna rock. That's a good thing about my job, though. I just rock in 10 minutes late, and everyone looks at me like, "Hey, what's up?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'm late."
Yeah. Well,
but it's been a good show, man.
Yeah, we did have a good show.
Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, man.
Yeah,
it's
you
good.
guys. I mean, you guys feel free to shoot it for another 10 or whatever. I've just got to head out. So.
I've got to head myself off. We're gonna wrap it up here. So, but thanks everyone for watching, hanging out this week. Thanks for Marcus for coming on. Make sure you go.
No problem, man. Thanks for having me on.
Make sure you go scroll down in the description and check out the link to his channel and check him out. And
Yeah, he's totally silenced, guys. He's silencing everyone on the internet.
I mean, come on, yeah.
And also, submit an email if you want to possibly get featured on the show. There's a link down there.
And Marcus,
both of that as well.
I will have my setup going on Marcus's channel too. I did make the videos last night too, so
Oh, brilliant. Thank you, Brian.
I got upstairs and downstairs, both my setups. So they'll be going on Marcus's channel. So stay tuned for that
Thank you.
video. So I'll be sending
Brilliant.
it soon to you, dude. So.
I loved your video earlier, Brian, as well, with that graphics card. Oh, that was awesome.
Oh, thanks, man. Yeah,
Oh,
I
some
just
tears,
whipped
man.
something up. I was like, hey, what's stopping me from entering? I'll just whip up a thing.
It was just the wire. It was just the wire that made it. It wasn't the card. It was just the wire. It was just
Well, that's it. So like,
so
I'll
so
whip something up.
inventive. So inventive.
I'll
That's
whip
why
something
you
up. I'll whip
Have the
something.
subscribers you do.
Yeah, I'll whip something up, and yeah, I did. So it just took me probably 4 hours. So because I wanted to get it all right, but took a while. But yeah, I thought, hey, why not? You know,
that's
like
good.
I'd love to review one of those widescreen monitors. So
Ultra
Yeah.
wides.
yeah, see, I mean that's why I entered because I really want to review one. So yeah.
All right.
We'll
Well,
see.
we'll catch you guys next week. Ta-ra.
Yeah. All right. See you guys, and make sure you send your comments to Tech Gaming Weekly on Twitter. The handles in the description below.
Yep.
All our details are in the description below. Twitter handles, whatnot. And we'll catch you guys in the next one.
Yeah.
Ta-ra.
Ta-da.
Ta-ra.
Gerard.